Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean. You've spent countless hours in prayer, fervently asking for a miracle, but day after day, week after week, there's no sign of the breakthrough you've longed for. Discouraged and disillusioned, you wonder if God has forgotten you, or worse, has chosen not to answer your desperate pleas. The reality is that while you've been waiting, hoping, and pleading, the miracle you sought has been right before your eyes all along, disguised in something ordinary, unperceived, unknown. All this time you've been yearning for the extraordinary, when the path to your miracle lay in the simple. The mundane, the seemingly insignificant details of your everyday life. It's a paradox that many of us grapple with, isn't it? We pray for guidance, yet we fail to recognize the signs that appear every day. We ask for financial provision, and yet we overlook the opportunities that present themselves in our daily lives. We seek healing and health, and yet we neglect the small steps that could lead us towards recovery. But why? Why does God lead us on this intricate dance of hide and seek, keeping the answers to our prayers just out of reach when we least expect it? And what can we do to bridge this gap between our fervent desires and the tangible reality of our lives? I want to share with you a story that profoundly illustrates this principle. In the bustling city of New York, amidst the towering skyscrapers and the cacophony of city life, lived a young woman named Sarah. Sarah was a woman of deep faith who prayed earnestly for a new apartment. She had been living in a cramped, rundown studio apartment for years. Her dream was to find a place that was not only spacious, but also filled with natural light. One day she stumbled upon an apartment that seemed to be exactly what she had been looking for. It had large windows, hardwood floors, and a cozy layout. However, the rent was quite high, and Sarah found herself torn between her desire for a better living space and her financial constraints. As days turned into weeks, Sarah continued to pray for her dream apartment. She asked God to make her current apartment more livable, or to somehow make her dream apartment financially feasible. But as the weeks passed, nothing changed. Her apartment remained the same, and the search for a new apartment seemed like an impossible dream. Disheartened but still hopeful, Sarah decided to take a different approach. Instead of constantly asking for what she wanted, she began thanking God for the apartment she already had. She started seeing the positive aspects of her current living space and appreciating the roof over her head. Almost miraculously, after dedicating herself to seeing the good in her situation, things began to shift. An old lady who lived in the building announced that she was moving into an old-age home, freeing up a spacious apartment in the same building where Sarah lived. Moreover, the rent was significantly lower than market value. Sarah, although surprised, realized that this was the answer to her prayers. It wasn't the exact apartment she had seen earlier, but it was perfect in its own way. The apartment had large windows, lots of natural light, and was within her financial means. It was exactly what she needed, not what she wanted. This story beautifully illustrates a profound truth. Miracles don't always unfold on the grand stage. They often occur in the quiet corners of our lives, hidden in plain sight. Sometimes our faith can be so strong that we miss the smaller miracles happening around us because we refixated on a particular outcome. Sarah's initial prayer was focused on a specific apartment, a place she desired with all her heart. Yet when faced with the reality of her situation, she found herself at a crossroads. The apartment of her dreams seemed unattainable. Her faith, however, did not lie in attaining what she wanted, but in the unwavering belief in God's plan for her life. When she shifted her perspective from wanting to accepting, from questioning God's plan to trusting in it, the miracle she had been seeking began to take shape. It was not the grand, dramatic manifestation she had envisioned, but a quiet, understated blessing that fit perfectly into the tapestry of her life. Think about the times in your own life when you've asked God for a miracle. Have you ever paused to consider whether the miracle you seek might be hiding in simplicity? Or are you persistently looking for the extraordinary in the midst of the ordinary? It's easy, isn't it, to slip into the mode of passive hope, to pray without expecting, to wish for change without actively participating in the process. But here's the paradox. True faith isn't just about wishing or hoping. It's about taking action, stepping forward, even when the path ahead seems unclear. You see, when we remain passive, when we simply wait for things to happen, we allow ourselves to become disconnected from the divine partnership that God desires with us. Miracles, my friends, aren't merely divine handouts. are collaborative ventures between our faith and purposeful action. In essence, miracles are God's response to our faith in action. And we demonstrate our trust in Him through our actions. When we're willing to step outside our comfort zones and venture into the unknown, that's when the miraculous begins to unfold. Let me share with you another story that underscores this principle. Joseph, a young man of great faith, was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers and ended up in prison. Despite his unjust circumstances, Joseph never lost faith in God. When a guard in the prison noticed Joseph's integrity and work ethic, he put him in charge of all the prisoners. Later, when the Pharaoh had a series of cryptic dreams, no one could interpret them until Joseph, through a series of divinely guided events, was brought before the Pharaoh. Joseph interpreted the Pharaoh's dreams, providing insight into an impending famine and offering a solution. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom and insight, the Pharaoh appointed him as the ruler over all of Egypt, responsible for managing the preparations for the coming famine. Now, think back to Joseph's journey. He didn't just passively wait for God to rescue him from his predicament. Sure, he could have simply prayed for deliverance from slavery and waited, but throughout his trials, Joseph took action. He worked diligently as a slave, showed integrity in his dealings, and when given the chance, demonstrated his abilities. In other words, Joseph didn't just pray, he lived a life aligned with his faith. He took action, seized opportunities, and responded to the circumstances he found himself in. His story is a testament to the fact that faith without action is like a ship without a sail, adrift in a storm-tossed sea. True faith isn't just a feeling, a sentiment we harbor in our hearts. It's a force that compels us into action, guiding our steps, shaping our choices, and motivating us to make a difference. So the next time you find yourself yearning for a miracle, ask yourself this: what action can I take today that aligns with the outcome I desire? Can I adjust my perspective, alter my approach, or reach out for help? Because remember, miracles often stand at the intersection of our faith and our actions. It's like when you're looking for a friend in a crowd. Even though you know they're there, you can't see them unless you actively look. Similarly, miracles are present in our lives, but we must actively seek them out. Often they come disguised in the ordinary, hidden in the details of our daily routines. We have the ability to shape our lives, to steer our future. Yes, we should pray, but prayer shouldn't be our sole reliance. Let's infuse our prayers with action, our hopes with purpose, and our faith with unwavering resolve. The miracle you've been praying for might indeed be just one step away. It could be waiting for you to make the first move, to believe not just in the unseen, but also in the tangible steps that lead you there. Remember, your miracle might not be a distant fantasy or a stroke of divine luck. It might be the next right choice, the next step of faith, the next kind word, the next generous deed. So keep your eyes open, your hearts receptive, and your actions aligned with your deepest desires. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey. As we conclude, I invite you to continue this conversation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What are some of the ways you've seen faith and action bring about miracles in your own life? Your experiences might inspire others to take action toward their own miracles. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. By doing so, you will ensure you never miss out on new videos that will keep propelling you towards your own personal miracles. Remember, you hold the power to shape your destiny. Keep believing, keep acting, and most importantly, keep hoping. For miracles aren't just in God's hands. They're in yours too. Until next time, may your faith guide your actions and lead you to your own unique miracles. Take care.